Matt Davidson and a few of his White Sox teammates were riding a train to the ballpark in Oakland one day in April when he spotted a fan in an A's Sonny gray jersey. "I just called him over and asked him if he knew Gray had been traded," Davidson told Sporting News. "Just completely having fun." More, MLB Power Rankings, Mariners, Brewers crack top 5. What the fan on that train didn't know at first was that Davidson wanted to record him for his podcast. Once he recognized Davidson and the other players, he went along with it, and even shared his scouting report on the day's pitcher, Davidson said. Davidson's is one of a growing number of podcasts hosted by MLB players. And like the men who play the game, each one has its own flair. The idea for Davidson's came during the White Sox Fan Fest in January, when Davidson got up on stage with TV play-by-play announcer Jason Benetti and the two started fielding questions from fans and joking with each other. The two enjoy what he called playful bickering during their near-daily interactions at the ballpark, so it was natural that their good-natured ribbing on stage would be a hit with fans. That event gave Davidson, who said he usually only listens to fitness podcasts, an idea to start his own show, with Benetti as his co-host. Now titled Matt Davidson and Jason Benetti's Untitled Podcast, the two are essentially continuing the banter that started in their friendship and continued on the Sox Fest stage. Davidson has already brought in teammates to guest on the show, and they have so far stuck to recording in the morning when the team is on the road. They have gathered in hotel lobbies to share in some levity before they head off to the ballpark. "The season gets so long, and it can be very demanding, especially in times of struggle," Davidson said. "So we just try to get away from it a little bit and have some fun. Recording our first podcast today." Matt Davidson and the guy who announces the White Sox at Jason Benetti pic.twitter.com/1acking7sab2, Matt Davidson, at Matt_Davidson24, March 30, 2018 on the Cubs. Ben Zobrist and 3 of his close friends have a podcast called Show and Go, named after how they approach each episode. "Basically we're just showing up with the topic, and we're like, how are we going to talk about it?" Zobrist said. Their podcast is informal but highly informational. Unlike the Seinfeld-esque nature of Davidson and Benetti, whose topics range from ice cream to shoe collections, Zobrist and company take a more instructional approach. He's accompanied by longtime AAA pitcher Tim Dillard, Ryan Schmalz, a college baseball coach, and Josh Costello, a trainer to Zobrist and a few other major leaguers. They recorded Community Bible Church in Nashville, where 3 of the 4 are members, usually after Sunday service is over. Zobrist said the idea came simply out of a mutual desire to share their collective understanding of the game. They focus on things such as being a good teammate, preparation, and communicating successfully with coaches. "We enjoy sitting and talking about baseball topics. Not necessarily the mechanics of the game or the situational baseball types of stuff, but the mental side of the game, the nuances of the game within the game," Zobrist said. "We have some great conversations with each other, and we find a way to give this away to the younger generations, kids, parents and coaches that are really trying to speed up the curve in terms of knowledge." MLB Draft Picks, top prospects from rounds 1 to 10 in Pittsburgh, pitchers Trevor Williams and Steven Brault just like ranking things and arguing about them. Probably the most prolific of the podcasters, they have recorded 16 shows in 5 months. Called IMHO, because they spend each episode discussing the merits of each other's rankings, Williams and Brault typically solicit the help of a teammate to help them rank and discuss things such as Nintendo 64 games, what their last meals would be, and romantic comedies. "We like talking a lot. We talk about goofy stuff. We always like to make sure people understand we have interests outside of baseball," Brault said. Behind the Scenes of It podcast Mo, the most famous Pirates pitchers podcast. pic.twitter.com/die5j1swim, Pirates, at Pirates, February 21, 2018. Similar to Davidson and Benetti, the Pirates pitchers started their podcast after a Facebook Live event at a fan fest last winter. Since then, when they have a guest, they have them choose the topic in advance, and then they make their rankings separately before hitting the record button to share them. We ask them, what's something you're passionate about? It doesn't have to be something real. We did a cereal episode, for instance. So it's, what is something you care about? I really like steak. Alright, we can do steakhouses, Brault said. That way we know the person who is going to be on the show is going to be really engaged with it. Their guests have only been teammates so far, but Brault said they hope to eventually coordinate with guys from other teams as well. Brault and Williams are getting a lot of positive feedback on the show, even when fans disagree with their rankings. It's an opportunity to see the players on a more human level, and their listeners appreciate it. Really, the whole goal is to show that we have lives outside of baseball, even during the baseball season. We're not at the field 24 hours a day, Brault said. We're not your elementary teacher who slept at the school. We have other interests, and we like to bring people in and show them that.